family, basically, and we're discussing how Korean families were depicted through film. So I'm Lori, it's Tierney, Katarina, Ian, Peter, Samantha.
So I'm gonna talk about the traditional and modern way of Korean family structure. So basically traditional, so family is the most important part of the Korean life. And then in traditional, we deeply influenced by Confucianism. And so in that tradition, the father is the head of the family, and then he is responsible to their family to provide food, shelter, or clothing. And then he also to approve the marriage of family members. And then members of family are very tied to each other because of the action of one family member to reflect on the rest of the family. And then contemporary Korean family is we are because of the industrialization and the urbanization, South Korea have brought many changes to the Korean life. So changing economy growing, and then so the lifestyle has led to more opportunity for the job. The woman can educate from the overall. So freedom of speech, so family relations have been changed. Before the currency crisis in 1997, the world of concepts such as single mother and the middle of age divorce and the international marriage is unheard of by most Koreans. However, there is no longer the case. Before 50 to 60 years ago, the extended family was the social norm. But nowadays, the nuclear family is the standard. So there are only considered 3 or 4 members on their family. So according to the graph, so as you can see, in 1970, the 5 people or more household family size 20%, but the 2007 is 9.8. So in traditional, they don't tell you about how many child they have the marriage, but nowadays only people focus more developing themselves, so that they wants to marry in later. So and we are gonna talking about the family structure in Korean cinema. Basically, 1940s and the 1950s, they were focused on the woman and man. So 1970s and the 1980s, we are unable to voice about the public opinion and about history. So in this movie, the women are disobeyed because they are separate from their traditional roots in their family. And then in 1990s, because of the economic crisis, society led to the idealization of the female, particularly the family, and made our human values focus on the family. As a result, the Korean movies after the 1990s showed rapidly changing the family structure.
The first movie that we're going to talk about is called The Wedding Day, and it was made in 1956. It was directed by EA13005-17-13, and then the main characters are Scholar Meng, who's the father, Mi-yeon, who's the husband-to-be, Ip-bun is the maid, and Gak-bun is the daughter. Scholar Meng isn't happy because he arranged a marriage between his daughter and the son of a noble family in the next town over, but he finds out that the son might be crippled, or there's a rumor that the son is crippled, so he doesn't want to marry his daughter off to a cripple, basically, even if it is from a noble family. And he decides that instead of his daughter getting married, he'll marry off the maid, disguised as the daughter.
할아버지, 고조, 증조, 대대조상님들, 인재 영락 없이 여기 반사댁 사돈입니다 그래.
This is before he finds out that the son might be a cripple, so he's boasting about how his son-in-law is going to be from a noble family.
아버지, 이거예요.
He described to his father after he heard that the son was going to be a cripple.
날 무슨 놀이감을 하세요?
아버님과 집안 체면도 좀 생각해야 하지 않겠니?
양반끼리 국회정원 노릇인데 정말 그럼 난 죽어버릴게.
And the daughter says that she would rather die than marry a cripple.
그렇다고 가뭄이 없는 병신에게 줄 수도 없지. 자, 이렇게 하면 어떨까요?
They come up with the plan
문산골 수분댁에다
to disguise the maid as the daughter.
대신 이 분이를 도라지골 김버섯 댁에다가 시집을 보내면 어떨까요? 감쪽 같지 않습니까?
So basically, it's the patriarch of the family, who's Scholar Meng, the man that you see most in the shot. And he starts off saying, oh, we're finally going to be part of a noble family, we're going to gain the status that that family has. They end up giving him a lot of gifts, and he's really happy about it, so he boasts to his ancestors while he's praying that finally he'll be an in-law of them, of a noble family. And then the daughter, even though she wasn't opposed to the arrangement, she wasn't marrying because of love. She was marrying because the father arranged it, and because of the status. And then after they find the whole town suddenly finds out that the son-in-law might be a cripple, so they're making fun of the daughter, very cruelly actually, and they're just talking about how, oh, you know, you'll have the status, but he's a cripple, so how can you love him, things like that. And then ultimately, the son of the noble family shows up, and he's not crippled. On the wedding day, he shows up and he gets married to the maid, and he chooses to marry the maid because she wasn't. She didn't care that he was going to be a cripple. She wanted to marry him because she thought that nobody else would. So basically, the compassion that she had for him made him love her, and then they got married and lived happily ever after.
Anyway, so the next thing we're going to talk about is My Little Bride. It started back in June 2004, and its topic is about arranged marriage between the main characters, Bowen and Tangmin. Due to Bowen's grandfather's orders, because he had made a promise with Tangmin's grandfather to get their grandchildren married and then their families unite. So, but then the main characters, they actually don't want to get married because she's a high school student and he's a little bit older than she is. And then, her Bowen's grandfather, he pretends that he's ill, so he orders them to get married. And then Bowen and Tangmin, they have to accept it. So they do get married, and then Bowen actually has a crush in her high school. It's a baseball player called Chongwoo. So she actually thinks that she can actually live a double life, which is managing a married life at home secretly with Tangmin, and also dating her crush Chongwoo. And then towards the end of the film, ultimately Bowen breaks up with Chongwoo because she realizes she actually loves Tangmin and not Chongwoo. And then she actually confesses her love to Chongwoo publicly. And that's it. Right.
So we're going to look into the character analysis of both Bowen and Segment, the main couple in the right. As you can see, Bowen is very young. She displays filial piety. Her character reveals the desire of Korean women to postpone marriages for later on, which is a problem right now with most of the professional Korean women are postponing marriage like later on, and that is drastically affecting the population growth in Korea. As well as Sangmin, they really didn't want to get married. They thought they had like more time. They were still young in retrospect. In a way, Sangmin is like the total opposite of Bowen. He's a pervert. He's a playboy. He's very traditional in a way. He still believes in his first love, which is kind of nice and all. And he's kind of oblivious to the idea of marriage. He's working on his career as an art professor. So these two characters reveal the voicelessness of like the new like society with against traditional. They have to listen to the grandfather in a way that like they can't express themselves, so they have to follow the traditional aspect and go with the arranged marriage. And there's some like that's like basically what's.
Sorry.
무슨 말씀이세요?
야, 영준아, 너랑 상민이 형이랑 당장 결혼하시잖아. 먼저가 상미 아들한테 떡떡 아니야?
고등학교 1학년이 어떻게 결혼을 해요?
안심.
안할 거예요. So that part was where the grandfather actually wants them to get married and then they actually don't want to. That's just the beginning. Anyways, the positive outcome, the Married Little Bride is actually a bright side of an arranged marriage because usually arranged marriage, they don't really come out to be positive. They usually tend to be a little bit more negative. But then here, this movie tends to show a brighter side of arranged marriage. Also, it also focuses on a marriage at an early age, which is Poland. She's 16 years old, a high school student, getting married to 20-something-year-old guy. And then also in the film, you could see the desire of the elderly wanting to see their grandchildren get married. So this shows kind of the desire of the elderly wanting to see their grandchildren off. Also, there's the chemistry between the two protagonists, Poland and Hangmin, which is very unique because they actually, at the beginning, they really don't want to get married. They have fights and discuss over everything. But then later on, you see that their relationship is actually one of the outstanding because you see that they bond with each other. They actually have feelings for each other later, and they actually confess publicly. Also, Poland's mother, she's the only one out of all the adults that actually was kind of unsatisfied with this arranged marriage because she actually thought about Poland's her happiness if she actually was happy getting married to Tommy, but actually she wasn't in the beginning. So Poland's mother was kind of against the marriage, and also there's the idea of sacrificing, which is they actually get married because of grandfather's order because he's ill. But then, so this idea of sacrificing demonstrates the idea that you're sacrificing for others and not for yourself.
Okay, so the film The Birth of a Family, we all watch this movie, and this movie questions the validity of the notion of masculinity and paternal authority in many ways. The character Hyung-chul becomes a burden to his sister Mira when he and his wife go to live with her. Hyung-chul has no money and no job, and deserts both women after stealing his sister's money. The two women are left to raise Mushin's daughter by themselves without any help from men. This accomplishment shows how unnecessary paternal authority is. Another character, Sun Kyung, is also without a father figure. She is a strong woman who takes care of herself and shows disdain for her mother, who seems to always be after a man. Sun Kyung ends up raising her half-brother on her own, again without a man to help. The boy's father abandons him after Sun Kyung's mother dies, which raises questions of what paternal authority is really worth. When Sun Kyung's half-brother, Kyung-suk, is older, he dates Chae-hyun. He tries to assert his masculine authority in their relationship when he argues with her, but this doesn't work. Chae-hyun is unwilling to change herself to please a man. And by portraying strong female characters, the film undermines the notion of masculine authority and female submission to it.
Family ties is also different in the sense that there's the reverse societal standing between the men and the women. The women are the super strong characters as opposed to the men who are the really weak and meek characters. Mira, she lives on her own. She's happy. She's not married even though she's at marrying age. She's holding down a job, but it's her brother who's shown to be the dependent one and not willing to find a job and has the mentality of a child, which is really shown when he begs them to keep the child like a child would normally beg their parents to keep a puppy. Sun Kyung, well, she went over Sun Kyung, but I just want to mention that even her mother character was shown as being a more strong female character than normal, in the sense that, she was fighting off cancer, she held down a shop by herself, and she raised a child. And the man that the mother had an affair with is portrayed as being bland, meek. He can't make up his mind as to who he loves more, and he's really only shown in 3 scenes, showing how insignificant he is in their lives. Young-suk's attitude in the third part is portrayed as being petty and easily jealous, which is traditionally a female-focused emotion in the films. And this could possibly stem from the fact that he grew up in a women-only environment. And he attempts to use male superiority to a degree, but he ultimately fails.
That's what we're getting